This video is rated M for mature. Viewers' discretion is advised. Hello everyone, today's video is about Beastars. It's a long one, so feel free to skip around. I'll leave some timestamps in the description, and here we go. In today's day and age, millions of people spend much of their downtime watching shows and movies online. We have a plethora of streaming services that we can access with a few clicks of a mouse or a few taps of a smart touchscreen device. Some of us like to watch live-action shows and movies, while others watch digitally animated content. Everyone has different tastes and interests, but how do you convince someone to watch a show that is unlike anything most people have ever seen? If I told you I recommended watching a show drawn in a unique digitally animated fashion, that revolves around anthropomorphic characters, in this case humanoid animals that live their lives in a human-like society, would that sound appealing to you? Or would you be uninterested and not give it a second thought? The show I'm referring to is called Beastars. It's a Netflix original anime series based off the manga written and illustrated by Haru Itagaki. Anime fans and furries appear to be the target audience, and those are two very niche categories, though anime is starting to become more popular. Some of you might be asking yourself, what's anime? If you don't know what anime is, my brief explanation would be that it's Japanese animation with a unique narrative and multi-layered characters. The characters often have big eyes, and this was due to the limited budgets for creating anime in the early 1960s. The shows were 12 frames per second, which resulted in characters' eyes being emphasized for the audience so they could have something to focus on. As the saying goes, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Anime also contains creatively extensive storylines that push the boundaries of what is socially accepted storytelling. Some stories have over-the-top action, overly exaggerated simple everyday activities such as eating a potato chip, excessive perversion, the exploration of dark themes and tragic events, and other elements that you will rarely ever see in American animated shows. Though I give props to the Amazon Prime exclusive Invincible, not quite on par with the amazing storytelling delivered by anime shows, but it comes excitingly close and also pushes the limits for mature content of any American animated series I've ever seen. I'll definitely discuss the show in a future video. Another question you might have is, what's a furry? So let's Google it. According to my highly trusted source of information, Wikipedia, the furry fandom is a subculture interested in anthropomorphic animal characters with human personalities and characteristics. Anthropomorphic characters can be any non-human objects or creatures exhibiting human-like behaviors such as Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob SquarePants, the household items in Beauty and the Beast, and Lightning McQueen from Cars. Although Beastars isn't about furries, it is about furry creatures. The cast is made up of several furry animals, and because furries make up the community that is most likely to watch this series, I would like to shed some light on their fandom. My next example for which I consider this show to be a special kind of anime is because it's not made in the typical 2D cartoonish style. It was made using 3D computer-generated imagery, or more famously known as the acronym CGI. I'll admit this style of animation took me a while to appreciate, but I'm proud to say the animators do an excellent job at expressing character emotion in their facial expressions and behaviors. The CGI adds a sense of realism, creating a stronger connection to the characters, and we get a better grasp of what each individual is feeling. After a few episodes, I began to realize how visually captivating the series can be, and it sets it apart from other animated content in a positive way. It's apparent that Beastars is for those who enjoy anime, and for all the furries out there. But is this a show that can be enjoyed by someone who doesn't watch anime, either for lack of interest, lack of exposure to anime, or being deterred by the anthropomorphic world that caters to furries? I believe that Beastars is a spectacular hidden gem of a show, and my goal is for people to give it a chance. I'm not naive to the fact that not everyone will enjoy a show like this one, but I will do my best to make an argument with the least amount of spoilers as possible for why it should at least be considered as a contender that aims to take a spot on your watch list. Before I give my review and analysis for this anime, let me show you some video interviews I recorded with family and friends. Roll the clip.
Hi, my name is For Keeps.
Hey everybody, my name's Gardenia.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jalen Penn. You're wondering what's on my head right now. I just got done washing my hair.
Hi, my name is Willow, Wolf Wolf. I live with Gardenia and Jalen up in this crib. In here you see, Wolf Wolf, what's good with it?
Hi, I'm Michael Probert. It's good to be here. I don't know what this is about, but I'm excited.
My name is Caitlin. Hello.
Hey, what's up? My name's Orion, but you can call me Orion Yokai.
Hi, I am Kathy Nix.
Hi, my name is Carly.
All right, so here we go. First question, if I can get it to load. What kind of shows do you enjoy?
I like comedies, animated shows, pretty much most animes and cartoons I'll give a chance. I was really into Bridgerton for a minute, that British show about high society.
Is that live action?
Yeah. It was really fun. So I have a pretty wide range of things that I watch.
Dragon Ball Z, any kind of animation, Teen Titans, Marvel, My Hero, just kind of got into that, then One Punch, so things like that.
Okay. Do you watch live action stuff too?
Yeah, so anything that's kind of live action is at least good. Like Winter Soldier was pretty good. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Marvel movie, but pretty much any action movie that's at least decent quality.
Oh man, I've been really enjoying everything that Marvel's been putting out. Falcon and Winter Soldier was really cool. WandaVision was cool. There's some things I wish they would have done, but that's really cool. But anything from like Marvel to anime, sitcom, dramas. I just got done watching Game of Thrones for the first time. I'm kind of eclectic. I like most things. I like romance. I think romance is my favorite genre. I think you can't have a good story without some form of love.
I'm all over the place. I would say as far as TV shows, I tend to do more of like the reality style ones just because it's easy to mess around with, all different kinds of genres. But also, I'm into documentaries. I'm into pretty much anything.
Ooh, I like medical dramas, murder shows, reality, TV, Survivor.
First question. Are you a sussy baka?
Okay, hold on. Before I answer this, can you please define sussy baka?
I cannot. Next question.
I enjoy a lot of different shows. I mainly watch anime, though, to be honest. But yeah, right now I'm watching Superstore. It's like the only real person show I'm watching. It's pretty funny.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of anime. I get into that. I like true crime, psychological horror, but I also like a lot of fantasy. So kind of a variety.
Crime. True crime, guys.
Yeah.
I love murder. I love all the gruesome stuff. Or I like romantic movies. I like a good rom-com.
Do you watch anime?
I don't watch anime, but I did watch. I did watch like a little bit of like the popular ones. Like I know they weren't anything super major, but like obviously Pokemon and like those ones there I watched, but not any of the other animes.
Okay, and that's like stuff you watched growing up, like did you watch Dragon Ball Z and?
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I was into that too. But I'm not into the recent stuff, and not because I don't like it. Like I actually really liked like Avatar: The Last Airbender when it was on Netflix. I loved that side, and I know it's like they're not all the same, but I could see myself liking one if I knew what to look for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fun fact about Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's actually not considered an anime.
Really?
But it looks like it.
Really?
Which, it's still a very good show. Like, it is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Really?
But just because it wasn't created by Japanese people or
Okay.
Japanese audiences, and it
Okay.
was made for the American audience, it's considered like an American Western cartoon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you familiar with anime?
I do know what anime is.
Do you watch anime?
No.
Is there a reason why you don't watch it?
No, not really. I don't know, not really super interested in it.
Okay.
But, I don't know. My daughter wanted to watch Pikachu a few weeks ago, so we turned that on.
Yeah.
She thought it was super cool. No anime.
What do you like about anime? What about anime intrigues you?
Most of them, at least when I started out watching, like for instance, Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, it's just the storyline kind of drew me in. And then as I got older, I started getting introduced to a little bit more styles of anime, and the actual art is what drew me in even more. And then the in-depth character development. So like when you're a kid, you might not pay attention to as much as that as you do now, but now as I'm older, I appreciate anime a lot more for what it is now, just by paying attention to the story and the character development.
Anime is really extra. They just, if there's a fight scene, they're like, wah, wah. Just really intense. If if they're emotional and one of the characters is crying, like they make you cry because they get so into their feelings. I really like how they move through scenes and they connect with the emotions so well.
I love how dramatic anime is. I love how the characters always start at the bottom of the barrel, and they always somehow end up becoming the most like OP version of themselves, or whatever the OP version of themselves is in that universe. And I just like the storylines of them too, because a lot of them go through a lot of like, you know, trauma. Like Naruto went through a lot of trauma. He didn't grow up with his family members. He grew up an outcast. People hated him, and then he becomes Hokage.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
The endless amount of possibilities, you know? Every anime has its own set of characters with unique skills and stories, backgrounds, and mystical adventures, and I fuck with that.
I love art, and I like watching original art and drawing, and so for me there's a lot more that you can do in that cartoon style, and I like that the Japanese handle all subject matter in animation. It's not like the American version of cartoon. It's not just for kids. A lot of it is very mature content. I love that the Japanese use, you know, animation to express every medium. They use it, I mean, all the way up into, you know, extremely mature content, you know, hentai.
Yeah.
You know, I've accidentally rented hentai.
Is there anything you dislike about anime?
Sometimes they can drag on a little bit.
Well, there's definitely genres of anime that I don't watch because I just don't find them that entertaining. But I mean, as anime as a whole, no, it's great. 10 out of 10.
I don't necessarily care for some of the more childish and the more outlandish. One of the ones I thought it was, and I'm not saying it's not well done. One that came out quite a while ago was it Bobo? It was many iterations, and it was very out there, very extreme in its animation and its characters and its how everything was presented. Yeah. And for me, it was a little too much. But that, again, that's not saying it's not good. Okay. Just not my taste in that.
The cartoony fact, like I'm just not a huge cartoony type person, but I mean, I've never really watched it enough to know what it's about, to know whether or not I really like it or not.
Are you or are you not a furry?
I am not.
Okay.
What? I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
So you don't know what a furry is?
Is it somebody that like is attracted to teddy bears or something? I don't know. I think maybe my younger self was like, wow, Simba's kind of hot when he grows up. I don't know. I don't know if I've noticed that now or if I've really even thought about it, to be honest. That's a loaded question. I don't think I identify.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Fun fact, I played the Big Bad Wolf in Into the Woods, the musical.
No, I'm not a furry. I know what they are, but I'm definitely
Okay.
I am not.
Am I a furry? Okay. I'll make this really simple. Do I have a costume and dress up on the weekends and look like a fucking like furry creature in like a suit? Yes.
All right.
I am not. I can very much appreciate the lifestyle, and just the appreciation for it. I have done costume characters in the past, more mascot type stuff. So I think there's a part of me that would have a very good time and would enjoy it. Yeah. But it's a lot of work to get a good costume. It's a lot of work to do that, and I don't have the time or the money to really invest in that. But I think it's fun.
A furry?
Yeah.
What's a furry?
What do you know about furries? Or can you tell us like what you think furry means?
Furries are people who like to dress up as anthropomorphic animals, and they just frolic around and like have their fursonas, which is them like embodying their animal. You know, it's kind of like a spirit animal, but like a little weirder, different.
I think those are people that are into like dressing up as animals and going to parties. Maybe some other stuff that's unscrupulous, but I'm not sure. I don't know what they look like, but no, I'm just kidding.
Isn't that somebody that dresses up like an animal for like sex or something?
Isn't there some sort of like sexual feeling associated, or some sort of like sexual act or whatever with some sort of animal element or dress or attire or something? Like that's what I get.
You dress up in like a animal costume and go to conventions.
I know a lot of the unfortunate what people think it's all about and like furry pile and all of that. And I'm sure there's that part of it that there are people who enjoy that. But I think for the most part, being able to express yourself and become another character is no different than any other cosplay. And I really appreciate the work that goes into it and the conventions and all that. I think it's fantastic.
But like they like to dress up in these costumes, but they also like to like have fun, have parties, and hang out with other people who like these furry costumes and just these like animal humanoid characters.
I guess that makes sense.
But even though it's not all about like the sexual side, it is something that's present. And according to some interviews that I heard, some furries say like, oh yeah, it's something that people always think about. That oh yeah, it's a sexual thing. And it definitely is, but apparently it's not the biggest thing about that community that brings them into it.
Interesting. I guess I can understand how that you got to have some element of I just like dressing up in this, and it's not like I want to dress up in this and have sex in it immediately. Like I kind of figure there was something to that because they're most people who associate themselves as furries, you see them at like conventions and walking around, and it's not like, hey, I want to have sex all the time. It's just like nobody really learns, hey, well, how does a fairy really act?
Have you heard of an anime or seen an anime called Beastars?
Yeah, I've seen it. So yeah, I've watched the whole season.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard a lot about it.
You know what? I have.
I have, yes.
What do you think about Beastars?
I like it. I think it has a good story. It definitely is more adult oriented. There's a little bit of a sexual tension in it, kind of. But it does have a pretty decent story. It's a different kind of anime.
There's a wolf. There's a rabbit. Someone plays basketball at some point, I think.
I think that's a different anime.
Okay. and the theme song or the intro is really catchy. It's like really jazzy, and you're like, yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen like small clips here and there, and I've rewatched the intro quite a few times because I'm curious about what the show's about. From what I remember, I think the dude that's a wolf is into the rabbit, and which I think that's seen as something that's a little bit taboo because it's like a predator versus a prey. And so I think it's like this kind of weird forbidden romance kind of thing.
One of Gardenia's old coworkers was talking about it, and she said it was really cool and that people were really weirded out by it at first, but once you get into the story and the livelihood of the characters, it seems pretty cool. I think the animation is kind of beautiful. Everyone's told me I'm like, well, what's it about? They're like, just watch it. Just watch the show. I'm like, oh, okay.
I know it's about a wolf and a bunny. Those are like kind of the main two characters, but it's about this. It's kind of like Zootopia, but sexy, to be completely honest.
Okay.
A predator versus prey, and they all like coexist.
I liked it. I liked the presentation of the characters. I liked the storyline and how they worked the more vulnerable characters in terms of the prey characters in with the predator characters. I think they did a very good job combining animal traits with human traits, and that the characters had the same vulnerabilities that you see in high school students, but quite often expressed in different ways because of their animal nature. My husband and I, we kind of stopped and read the description of it, and we're like, okay, we have to watch this one.
Yeah.
And the first episode, we were like, hooked. Okay, go get the popcorn, go get something. And we binged. We watched the whole thing. And when we got done, we're like, is there a second? There's no second season yet.
Oh yeah, I love that shit. With that wolf, that fine ass wolf, and that thick ass bunny. Yeah, I like Beastars. I don't know how I feel about cats, mating with dogs. I think that's kind of weird, but I don't know. That bunny almost turned me.
All right, well, thank you for coming on and giving us your perspectives and opinions.
Thanks for having me. Wolf, got any snacks?
Want a Scooby snack?
Yeah, I want a Scooby snack. Wolf.
Have you heard of an anime called Beastars?
No.
Okay.
What's it about?
No, I have no idea what that is. No.
So what I'm gonna have you do is pull up Netflix on your phone.
Okay.
If
Here
there's
we
a
go.
trailer, go ahead and play that.
That was the moment I discovered the small rabbit and my instincts.
Why don't you take responsibility for your own strength?
Coexistence? What a joke.
I'm just so frustrated at myself.
Carnivores are all the same in nature. I'm tired of running.
You should just take me. I don't care anymore.
There's this alpaca that gets murdered in this academy. It's like kind of like a high school. The teenagers, which are all animals, they're kind of like on edge because they know that they go to school with carnivores. And you know, in this world, herbivores and carnivores live together like in peaceful coexistence. So like, it's against the law. At least I'm assuming that the carnivores aren't allowed to eat, the prey animals. The herbivores are kind of scared of this guy specifically because he's a great wolf.
Yeah.
This is a weird anime because it's kind of like CGI-ish, which is not like your typical
Yeah, that's what
anime.
I'm saying. It's like a mature Zootopia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's pretty spot on for what it is. And it has very mature themes.
Yeah.
Violence, has sexual things in it as well.
Oh.
And, that's something that I think would really turn people away from this. But it's not like super explicit.
Like
they
for
don't
a
show
mature
anything,
audience.
but you kind of know what happened, So just based off of the trailer and the quick little description, what do you think? What are your first thoughts?
I have no idea. It's like...
I definitely think it's for like an adult, like cartoon kind of ish for me, and I think, kind of just would be a basic movie line of like a bully and someone, all of that, but in cartoon form. I think that's kind of cool.
It just seemed like there was all different kinds of, animals, and maybe they have anthropomorphic qualities.
Yeah.
Make them human, but also relate them to their animal.
Cool. Yeah, you're the first one to know that word. So.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Are you sure you know that, Furry? Just based off of what I told you so far, do you think because this show is an anime and has those furry elements and interspecies sexual relationships, does that turn you off or make you uncomfortable or make you think like, this is something that I would not watch?
It's definitely different. I don't think it's necessarily something that would immediately turn me off, that would make me say, oh no, I don't want to watch this. I mean, especially if you think in the modern age of like superheroes and like there's so many, like I think all they're doing is just they're adding animal qualities to a person to make it a little bit more complex in the interactions between the characters. And like, I get that. Like, you're just trying to flesh out a story. You do the same thing with superheroes. Like, you give them superpowers and you say how they're so different, but they can do one thing. And, although it's not animals, it's still like some sort of I'm different. And like, I guess, you even see in superhero movies, there's people from other planets and aliens that, may look like the species that you look like, but you got no problems, I guess, when the main character might have a relation with an alien. So where do you draw the line in saying, oh, these are fictional animal characters with these fictional qualities that relate them to animals that they can interact versus, but I'm comfortable with watching, the aliens and galactic relationships of other things. It's like, I think there's, I guess, the words, furry and bestiality, when they get mentioned in that type of stuff, you start to think, oh no, I've been told that's so wrong. But really all it is it's just a story that's not real anyway. It's just fleshing it out with animal qualities to a person.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where I see it. And that's like, no, I'm not going to draw a hard line. It's different, but wouldn't turn me off right away.
Yeah. Does the creature anthropomorphic aspect of the show kind of turn you off or kind of make you want to shy away from it?
No, not really, honestly. I think it's just a cartoon. I know it's, not normal, so it's the movie's not supposed to be real. So, right off the bat, they're animals. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't turn me away. I don't mind things like that.
I think I find it interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe just to watch it to see kind of what the storyline is and kind of how that portrays, because I mean, I don't really know anything about it. So I don't think that's something that would be like, no, I don't want to watch it because of that. But I think it's more or less just the fact that I'm not big into anime. So I think both of them together kind of just like Probably not my cup of tea.
A big thing about the show is that, for one, it's an anime, and then the second thing is that it caters to the furry culture. And then they explore sexual themes with animal humanoid characters, again, called anthropomorphic characters. So a lot of people might get deterred from watching this show because of that. What would you say to somebody that is kind of apprehensive of watching the show because of these two aspects?
Wow, I didn't think you were gonna hit me that deep. For me personally, I don't really have an issue with some of the themes that are in the show, mostly because I think I can separate or kind of categorize like my own feelings and beliefs, and I'm not gonna watch the show and take this on. Like, I'm not suddenly gonna just start dressing up as a furry and be like, oh, hey, you know, like, and if I did later down the line, like, that would be something else, but that's not really, that wouldn't be the intention of me watching something like that. And I think I would probably tell people like, hey, yeah, maybe there might be things in the show, just like with any other show, that you might be like, what's that thing about, or what's their deal? But I think you kind of have to be ready for that no matter what show you watch, because there are a lot of things that have been coming out recently that have more controversial cues, I guess, or just things that people in society haven't fully accepted or understand.
I would say, I mean, just give it a chance. If that kind of weirds you out, like I said, watch the first episode. There's nothing weird about it when you first start it, and you got to have an open mind. I mean, don't go in there thinking that there's going to be some weird sexual stuff just because they're like animals. Just go in there like, okay, let's see where this goes, because it does have a story, and that's what's important, is getting past that and just thinking about the story in general.
Yeah, you just don't know if you're not gonna like it if you don't try something. Like, you know, I'm the type of person that, like, you know, I'll try anything once. Most things. Most things once.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not gonna hurt me, or if I can, like, you know, it's not gonna affect my day-to-day or my beliefs or whatever. Even then, like, you know, if it affects my beliefs in a good way, and I'm just like, oh, this is a dope show, then I'm gonna continue watching it. People just fear what they don't understand. When they see something that doesn't necessarily fit within their belief system, they don't give something a chance. There's just a stigma about sex in America, and people have a hard time being free and being their true selves.
The way that you're going to get the most people who are on the fence to change is just by selling them on saying, look, you know, I get it that it might seem a little weird, but you're going to miss out on a really awesome story if you're held back by these two things that you shouldn't hold yourself back on.
If someone doesn't want to watch, like, you know, anthropomorphic animals like hang out and act like humans and, you know, do sexual stuff on it, or just like, you know, if that's not their cup of tea, then yeah, it's not your cup of tea. But if, you know, you don't like it because it's anime specifically, then I would just say, like, do you watch cartoons? Because it's anime and cartoons, same, but sort of different. Like I said earlier, it has a really good story and the art's amazing, and it was a really great watch.
Can you kind of tell us about why you're not interested in anime or cartoons?
I don't know. I guess I just can't bring myself to sit down and watch it. Maybe I just don't like how it is, I guess. I think the cartoony aspect and just the way that the anime is created, it's not something for me. Even anime books, I don't like that they're backwards. Like, you have to read them,
the manga,
know? Yeah, I just don't take interest in that stuff.
Can you please tell the audience whether you will not, or consider watching Beastars?
I think the storyline itself is pretty interesting, so I would watch it because of that, but I think just because it's anime, it's not like something that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch this now.
Okay.
I don't know. That sounds terrible, but...
No, I mean, everybody has their own opinion.
I probably won't watch it, but I will at least consider it.
I'm gonna give it a chance. I don't see how you cannot watch Beastars because so many people are talking about it, and it has a really catchy intro. It's fun to listen to.
I'm gonna start Beastars tonight.
All right.
I'll try it. I got no worries trying it. I mean, I throw on random stuff all the time. I mean, you know, what's another half hour, an hour? I got no worries trying it, and if I can at least, because I like to comment on things, so I might as well watch one, see how it is after I've chatted about it, and then check it out. All right.
That'd be fun.
I'll give it a chance just because you sat down and interviewed with me. So I will watch it. I will watch an episode, see how I like it, and I will get back to you. I really will. I keep that promise.
I want to give a quick thank you to the amazing people that helped me out with this video. Thank you to Fo Keeps, Gardenia, Jalen, Willow, Michael, Caitlin, Orion, Kathy, and Carly for sharing a moment of your time with us. Now it's time for my review. Let's get to it. What would our world look like if rather than being inhabited by humans, it was inhabited by sentient humanoid animals? Some would be herbivores who eat plants, some would be carnivores who eat other animals, and others would be omnivores who eat both plants and animals. But what would the world look like if this animal kingdom lived in peaceful coexistence? Beastars explores these fictional scenarios and does so in an entertaining manner that makes a lot of sense. The animals act as if they were humans, but the show never lets you forget that their beastly instincts remain intact. If a fight breaks out in school, fists may be thrown, but if a beast gets riled up enough, they may decide to use their teeth, and this is a big no-no as it's considered rude to show your fangs, so biting somebody can get you into a lot of trouble and create unease among the herbivores. Throughout the series, we follow various different creatures such as alpacas, tigers, dogs, and lions, but we mainly follow the teenagers attending Cherryton Academy. We also get a glimpse of the world outside the school, which is full of secrets, danger, and illegal activities that will make you question how peaceful this world really is. The most memorable animals are the gray wolf named Legoshi, a red deer named Louie, and a dwarf rabbit named Haru. These three beasts are the main characters, and even though I don't consider a bunny to be all that beastly, I'll refer to all the creatures as such regardless. The show does a good job at displaying animalistic behaviors as if it were human nature, and with the individuality of each animal, it takes this anthropomorphic world beyond just being a reality where animals behave as we would expect them to. Legoshi is a young wolf living in a world where it is against the law to devour other animals. We watch him attempt to live a normal life among herbivores and the struggles he faces while trying to suppress his predatory urges. I love the way the animators captivate us with the images of breathing in different scents, such as the aroma of his natural prey or the tantalizing smell of blood. Legoshi is a surprisingly kind wolf, and seeing him try so hard to be the animal that society wants him to be while at the same time discovering what he is capable of as a predator really made me feel for the guy. Making friends isn't always easy, and it's 10 times harder once you've been labeled as a dangerous monster. Legoshi gives off a vibe that he doesn't care whether people like him or not, and it's intriguing seeing a wolf interact with creatures that have been biologically born to avoid him. One wrong move can make all the difference between life and death for those who were once considered prey. Being a herbivore can be a scary thing when you are living in a world full of carnivores, but that doesn't stop Louie from being prideful, confident, and carrying himself with the utmost poise. He even goes as far to assert his dominance over other characters, including carnivores. This could be because he is truly fearless, or perhaps he knows that if he shows fear or weakness, he will never become the dominant animal that gains the respect of both herbivores and carnivores, as he so desperately craves. The one who is revered by all and can unite both sides will earn the title of Beastar. Even though Louie is not a predator, Louie might surprise you. He can be more beastly than his peers and has a ferocious appetite when it comes to being the top deer. He has various interactions with Legoshi, and the relationship grows and evolves into a fascinating dynamic. Excuse me for having to be a bit vague, but I don't want to give away any major plot points. Louie is more than the average rich popular kid, and the darkness inside of him is something you'll definitely want to see unfold. The series is full of drama, and the show dives into mature themes that may deter closed-minded viewers. I am no expert in animals, but I have heard that rabbits like to multiply, and it appears that female rabbits can give birth to around 1,000 baby bunnies within their lifespan. That's a lot of kittens. You may or may not see where I'm going with this, but the mature themes largely revolve around the dwarf rabbit Haru. Earlier I did mention that Beastars caters to furries, and this series does explore sexuality between Haru and other beasts. I surmise many furries, but not all, will enjoy this show due to this element. Haru is known around the school for her promiscuity, and as a result has been labeled as an outcast. Most characters see her as a weak, fragile creature, and despite this mindset, several of her classmates bully her and treat her like trash. She has a rough life at school, and at home she is the smallest among her siblings, and her parents advise her to be careful due to her disadvantages as a dwarf rabbit. She feels invisible, unimportant, and seems to be struggling with depression and a lack of self-worth. Rather than indulging in pancakes and seeking the sin of gluttony, she decides to cope by other means. And yes, we have now reached the point where people will either continue watching an amazing story without any judgment or become disgusted and burn their house down. We discover that Haru has intimate relationships with other animals, and I feel this will make many people uncomfortable. In all honesty, it made me a bit uncomfortable. This show is my first exposure to such themes, and I didn't really know what to make of it. I am not a furry, and I don't find animals getting it on as a turn on whatsoever, but I also refuse to judge somebody who does like seeing that type of content because I try to keep an open mind, and as the saying goes, to each his own. I do want to make it clear that the show does not fall under the YIF category, and if you don't know what YIF is, then Google it. That being said, romantic physical activities do occur but are implied, and we don't actually see anything happen. These moments only show up about 2 or 3 times, are very brief, and only the last instance gets a bit heated. This may be a small spoiler, but nothing actually happens in the last sensual scene. Still, you should probably watch the show away from young children. It has a mature rating for a reason. I'm not necessarily an advocate for the furry community, but I do want people to accept others as they are, regardless of their interest being taboo. Individuals of different races and sexual orientations have suffered for generations for being different, and being a furry falls under the category of individuals who have been shunned, and it's unfair to treat them unfairly or without respect. My point in this case being that this show should not be negatively judged and brushed aside just because it unravels new themes that most of us have never experienced or witnessed. I don't know an extensive amount about furries, nor do I know the trials and tribulations that they have faced, but after listening to a few stories and watching a few videos, I gained valuable insight. The furry fandom is full of people who express themselves with furry creature suits, and it's an artistic expression, such as having tattoos or piercings. They will either buy the suits or make it themselves, and they will hang out with others at conventions or parties and have a good time. It's a common misconception that it's simply for kinky reasons, but it is true that many enjoy getting freaky with the suits on. No one in any of the interviews I watched shared any tragic stories of being ridiculed or picked on. They mainly shared stories of how their friends and family gave them acceptance and positive support. They did mention that there are people out there who will give them looks of disgust, and I'm sure there are horror stories out there of much worse, but it's good to hear how much positive energy there is within their community, and having a place where you feel like you belong is something we all need to live happier and healthier lives. Although Beastars isn't about furries, it's entertainment for their fandom, and they share the similarity of being different, which may shy viewers away from being associated with the show, and I'd like to emphasize that it's different in a good way. Most of the anime I watch, I would never recommend to someone uninterested in the genre, but again, Beastars is different. The series is unlike any other, and it poses a challenge to what is socially accepted as quality content. With its niche categories as an anime and containing anthropomorphic characters experiencing maturity, many people will have to make an effort to see past that in order to become enthralled in the marvelous storytelling and imagery. My words don't do this anime justice, and at the end of the day, until you watch a few episodes, you won't understand the magnificence that lies within Beastars, within its characters, its world, and its story. Do you want to embark on a journey filled with drama and mysteries? Beastars will deliver, and in a new way that you never thought possible. I cannot guarantee it, but if you watch the first episode, it may leave you with an insatiable curiosity that will have you craving for more. I give Beastars Season 1 a rating of unfathomably ferocious. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to click or tap the like button if you believe this video is worthy. Share it with all your friends. Don't be shy to leave a comment. I will appreciate any feedback you can give me. And don't forget to subscribe, but only if you love me.